Hello everyone, Alberto Savoia here, and I'm excited to be with you to share how to become an Apex innovator with a series of short videos where I tackle a very specific topic every time to help you become an Apex innovator. By the way, what are Apex innovators? They are organizations, companies that are the top 1 or 2% in terms of innovativeness in their industry. And by virtue of being the top 1 or 2% most innovative companies, they're also the 1 or 2% most successful companies. Performance just zooms exponentially. So it's good to be an Apex Innovators, and in this series I'm going to teach you how. So today we're going to talk how to bet like Bezos, Jeff Bezos, part 1. Okay, so let me quote Bezos directly. He says, given a 10% chance of 100 times payoff, you should take that bet every time, but you will still lose 9 times out of 10. So Jeff thinks that even if you're going to lose 9 times out of 10, if the payoff is 100 times your bet, you should take that bet every time. No questions, no questions asked, right? So the win-loss record doesn't look very good, but the payoff is definitely worth it. So he says that if you want to have outsized return, you have to bet against conventional wisdom. That's how you get the 100x return, because everybody else is doing the obvious thing. But he also cautions you, but conventional wisdom is usually right. So how are you going to approach this? Most people think that if there is a bet and the odds of winning are just 1 out of 10, so you can lose 9 times out of 10, this leads to a failure, right? This is not a good betting thing. But if the payoff is 100 times, you shouldn't reach that conclusion so fast, right? So not necessarily. You could lose most of the time, but if the winnings are the payoff is sufficiently big, that becomes a valuable bet. So how do we determine if a bet is a winning bet, if it's worth playing? And if it's worth playing, how exactly do we play it? Well, let me make this simple. So let's simplify this as much as possible. Let's take Bezos' statement and let's put it, assume you're at Las Vegas, there's a wheel of fortune. On this wheel of fortune, you have 10 slots, you have 1 in 10 chance of making $100 and 9 out of 10 chance of losing your $1 bet. Okay, so is this a good bet or not? Mathematicians in the past have come up with something that they call expected value. Don't be scared by the word math. I know a lot of you don't like to do math. We won't have to do any complex math beyond, elementary school arithmetic. Anyway, the expected value of a bet is simply the average of all possible outcomes. So here you have a wheel of fortune. You have 10 possible outcomes. On 9 of them, you lose $1. On 1 of them, you make $100. So what is the average expected value? 100 minus 9 gives you 91. Take the average by dividing by 10 possible slots, and you get $9.1 dollars. So let's round it off to 9. So for every $1 that you bet, you can expect to make $9. Now let me repeat that. For every dollar you bet, you can expect to make $9. Now you're gonna say, this is amazing, this is a great bet, of course I'm gonna play. But be careful, right? Just because the expected value of the bet is incredibly positive, it doesn't mean that you know exactly how you're going to bet it. So again, let's me make it personal. You go and instead of betting $1, you can bet any amount, and you still have one chance in 10 of making 100x whatever you bet. Would you bet your house? Right? In your mind, you think, wow, I'm gonna bet my little house, and if I get 100 times the value of my house, I can buy a beautiful villa in Italy. That is true, right? If you win. But remember, you also have a 9 out of 10 chance of ending up homeless. So clearly, probably most people would not bet their house, even if the expected return is that big. Also, what about the opposite? Say, well, yeah, I'm not going to risk that much, but I'm going to bet $1. So you bet $1, and 9 times out of 10 you lose $1, and you say, no big deal, just $1. And if you win, you make $100. That's nice, you can go and get dinner, but it's not going to be exactly life-changing. So you can some of you will think, duh, I know that, right? I know I shouldn't bet the house and I shouldn't bet a penny, right? That doesn't make much of a difference. But do you know exactly how much you would bet? I mean, I need a number. How many bets you would make? How much should each bet be compared to, say, your net worth, your value, or the money in the pocket? This, we need to be very precise, because if we play this game well, we're going to have outsized return. Okay, now let me take it back from the personalized case to the corporate innovation, right? So here is a distribution of innovation payoff versus how many of innovations will fall in that category. So I'm assuming, let's say there are 10,000 ideas that you're considering. Most of them, 80%, we're going to use the Pareto distribution 80-20 in this. So 8,000 of them will fail, right? Most new ideas fail in the market. Read my books if you're not convinced of that. Now, a smaller number, 1,600, right? Again, the 80-20 rule, we're applying it recursively, will return something modest, like say 1 million. Of course, Bezos is not interested in 1 million return. A fraction of that will return 10 million. Still, you know, if you're a $1 billion company, maybe that's sort of interesting. If you're a $100 billion company, that really doesn't move the needle. Then we start to get into interesting territory. 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion payoffs, right? There are some ideas that, if well executed, can lead to $10 billion payoffs. But the thing is, those ideas come at the end of this long tail. So out of 10,000 ideas, maybe there are just a handful that will give those return. And the questions, if you want to be an apex innovator, is, first of all, you want to don't go after the little ideas, right? Lions do not chase mice. If you're a $100 billion company, you can safely ignore $1 million idea, $10 million idea, even $100 million idea. When I was at Google, this was common refrain. You know, I come up with ideas all the time. They said, yeah, Alberto, this is a good idea, but it's not worth a lot. And I would say, look, this could be a $100 million market. And you know, Google, you know, the founders would say, yeah, this is not big enough for us. It's not big enough for Google. So you want to go after the $1 billion, $10 billion, $100 billion idea. And if you want to do that, what should be your betting budget? What should be the bet size? What should be your betting strategy, right? So to be an apex innovator, you need to make bets that move the needle without going bankrupt. So you want to move the needle so you can grow exponentially, have all the benefits of being an apex innovator without going bankrupt. So let me put some words in Jeff Bezos' mouth. This is not his direct quote now. So if you want to be an apex innovator, your betting strategy should be what? And that's what we're going to discover next now. So we realize is you want to take those bets. But in the next short, we're going to discuss what should your apex innovation budget be as a percentage of, say, your R&D. How many bets you should make? How much should you bet on each idea? You know, it's not a fixed number, but there is a system of doing that. Now, if you, if you're interested in these videos, I'm going to release more. But before I do that, I want to make sure that there is sufficient interest of them. Right, so share this video with your friend, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn, and please give me comments, give me your feedbacks. You know, do you agree with this idea? Do you disagree with these ideas? So we can start. I can share what I've learned over the past many years with you, and you can tell me what your opinion, and then we can have a good and interesting discussion. So thank you. In the meantime, until my next videos, make sure to check my books. There are a lot of other video lessons for innovators and product managers that I have on YouTube. And of course, I offer live workshops and web remote workshops on how to become an apex innovator. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. Let me know if your experience matches what I'm sharing. Follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter, and I'll see you here for the next video so you can be an apex innovator. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.